Good morning, fellow travelers. It is day 2. We are off to Princess Cays in just a moment here, and I am ready for some fun. I have a cabana rental, and hopefully the beach is nice and I don't turn into Lobster Girl. So they gave me a priority tender ticket, but as you can see, there is not exactly a crowd here, and so I did not need that tender ticket. I just got on, and we had people trickle on for a little while, and when the tender was full, then we headed out towards the island, and it was a nice day out. You can see, look at that sky, isn't that pretty? And here we are leaving the Enchanted Princess, and oddly enough, we went a certain distance away, and you'll see the color of the water change. And then we sort of sat there for about 15 or 20 minutes because we were waiting for that tender you see going off in the distance to clear the dock so that we could get on the dock. And here we are getting on the dock. You can see there's things to the right, there's things to the left. The left side is where most people go immediately off the tender. But that right side actually holds kind of a hidden gem. And we'll look at that. So this is, if you were going to the left side, you'd face off here and you just head out there. But we're going to take a quick run off to the other side. And it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not too bad. And you go over this bridge, over this sort of canal, and you get a nice view of the docks. And then you go a little further down, and you come around to where there's a whole other beach area over here, with just, this is a small step up here. There's also a ramp over there. And there's food over here. There's a volleyball court. There's tons of loungers. And normally when this island is at capacity, because the ship is at capacity, this is a much more crowded area. Of course, for COVID, we're running at much reduced capacity on this ship. And so we're also the only ship here right now. I don't know if they run more than one ship at a time or not at Princess Cays. But you can see, it's got a nice area. Now this is back, if you were going to the left, this is where most people go. You can see here we've got, your store that has all the things you might need. It's got snorkel equipment and hats and swimsuits and just clothes and all kinds of things in there. And then, you just go off and start walking. I have 2 things to accomplish here. The first thing I have is I got a locker rental, and I did that before I got the cabana. When I got the cabana, I thought, well, do I want to cancel the locker? But I wasn't sure where everything was going to be. I know that the Sanctuary cabanas are on the far side of the island. I wasn't sure if the locker was sort of a midway point and would be useful for, if I was doing some filming to sort of stash some of my gear or something, and it turned out to actually be at a decent spot. This is the children's pool area, and there's some climbing equipment and such in there, play equipment as well. And of course, tons of loungers, just so many loungers. I'm sure that when this area is at capacity, that it is still easy to find loungers. I can't imagine it filling up so much unless they had just multiple ships here. These are all the things you can rent here, by the way, the pool noodles and all that fun stuff. They also have these vendors selling various wares. They have someone, I think, braiding hair and that sort of thing as well. And we keep going until we get to something that looks like it might have lockers. It's not this one. It's further down. As you can see, as I mentioned, it's a bit of a walk, and it's a big island, and you can see the map there, and yeah, it's good sized, and we're there. And we're trying to go over to the Sanctuary, which is all the way at the end there, so we're going to keep going. This is actually where the buffet is, the Crazy Grill here. So they have a buffet at lunchtime, and it's fairly strict hours. It's like, at most, I think it's like 11 or 11:30 until 1 or something. So it's fairly short hours for the buffet. But yeah, you keep going and going and going. There's lots of shade places, which is nice. There's, picnic tables and such, so that you can find some shade and get out of the sun. There's, of course, also those clamshells and such you can rent. But up here, we find the lockers. So how this works is you give her something, I don't remember now if it was an ID or if it was deposit money. And that is your guarantee against them getting the key back for the locker. And so of course you come back, you give her the key, she gives you back whatever it was, whether it was an ID or money, and you're on your merry way. So you can see that these are pretty deep. That's the beach towel they give us from the ship, and so it's not a small towel, and there was tons of room in there. And they're just, you know, your basic locker, very easy to work. And so yeah, having found my locker and gotten my key, which of course I keep now on my wrist, I'm off to explore the island a little bit more as I head towards the Sanctuary Cabanas. This is a lookout point. You can climb all the way up to the top of that and see pretty well around the island. Now we continue on towards this set of cabanas. These are the regular beach cabanas here. And I'm told that I need to talk to people in that little yellow booth.
Right here, the right place. Welcome.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Good. Ooh, that's a squeaky one.
Sanctuary number 20, please. I need somebody to escort. Yeah, 20. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sanctuary.
Table
20.
Sanctuary. Yeah, ma'am, please follow me, ma'am. Would you like me to carry anything from your
No, I've got it, thanks. You can see there's quite a number of cabanas, and they're right there on the beach. And so it's really easy to just sort of walk out of them and hop in the water if you want. They also have showers on the side if you can. It's hard to tell, but they're on the side there. They're outdoor showers. Anyway, we keep walking and walking and walking past all these brightly colored bungalows, and I get handed off to another person, and we head for the Sanctuary. And here we are.
But it stops raining.
I was gonna say, it might
Morning
be
it
a little
was-
soggy today, huh?
Morning it was raining a little bit.
Oh well, my camera's waterproof.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Andy?
Watch out.
Mm-hmm.
There's the bed set for you.
Excellent. Ah, it's nice in here.
Yeah, it's cold.
Oh. Okay.
All right. We'll be around here.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Now, let's see, is there a light? There is a light. We want the light on. So this is the bungalow. I was calling them cabanas, but they're bungalows. I'm not sure what the difference is, except one cruise line to another. Anyway, you can see the air is lovely. The fan is going on high and it's air conditioned. We have this nice little table. And one thing I thought I would point out, because I saw it as a aside in one of the other videos that talked about the bungalows, there is a nice plug down here for those of us who have electronics to keep charged, like this phone whose battery is going to die soon. But you can also open the window if you want to let the breezes in, which is quite nice. Right now it's going to be rainy soon, so we're going to keep that closed. But yeah, this is a very nice space. The air conditioning is going crazy, so it's really nice in here. I brought that towel that is over there, and we also have a refrigerator, which is quite empty. But, you know, maybe we'll talk him into bringing us stuff. He did bring us water, so that's nice. But yeah, and the beach is my happy place. It's part of the artwork. Okay, so the plug that is over there across the room apparently is not working because it was not giving any power to my charger. But on a better note, right behind the refrigerator, the one that plugged the refrigerator in is in fact live, and there was room for my extra charger. Now, if you're not familiar, this is really handy, and I'll link to it in my description, but it's got 3 power outlets, 2 regular USB, and then a USB-C as well. And so this is my first time using this one. I had a different one that I used to use, but I'm really liking it so far. And it's got a nice long cable, you see. So regardless of how much, you know, room you have to get from the plug to someplace that you can put your adapter, it's pretty decent. I've been in other rooms where, especially in cruise ship rooms, where there's actually a problem with that, where, you know, the one that I had before was a fixed, it was fixed, there was not a cable, and so if it didn't fit, it didn't fit, and you were just out of luck. This one has a better chance, I think, of fitting, and so I really think it is a good product. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to finish assembling all my toys and go out and see what there is to see on Princess Cays. He asked me about my welcome drink, if I wanted alcoholic or not, so I chose rum as my alcohol. And then he also brought me some lovely lunch, and it starts with a couple of small courses, and then we go to a lobster. These were all very, very good. And I went through this and was pretty full, and then they brought this. And so it winds up being quite a bit of food. So this bungalow has this tin roof, and it's raining. And I love the sound of it. Isn't it wonderful? I'm glad I waited a little bit to go out to film though, because I wouldn't have wanted to miss this. Hopefully it's not electrical as well, and it won't stop us from going in the water later, but in the meantime I get the lovely sound of rain on the roof of the bungalow. Before I knew it, it was time for us to go back to the ship again, and so I headed back through security. They actually had us wait for a little bit while the crew was loading up all kinds of coolers, these big coolers full of who knows what, dirty dishes, some were saying, but from the buffet, but it's hard to know what was in them. Once we finished waiting for that and they got that all loaded, they let us come along to the tender again, heading back to Enchanted Princess and saying goodbye to Princess Cays, or Kay, however you want to pronounce it. It sure is a beautiful island. and saw a jazz club playing. It's called Take 5. And they had a program there where the musicians, it was a trio of musicians, and they were talking about the Cotton Club back in Prohibition days and how influential the musicians who played there were on jazz and subsequent musical genres that came from jazz. That was very interesting, and they played, of course, in between sort of lecture. So anyway, that is my day, and tomorrow is a sea day, and I do have dinner in the Italian restaurant, and it is formal night. And other than that, we'll see what happens. So Sue signing off.